Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our presentation on Acadia Residence Life and Dining Services for prospective students. We're really excited to be speaking to you today about everything that residence and dining at Acadia has to offer to you. I'd like to just start out by introducing myself. My name is Chad Johnstone. I'm the Director of Residence and Student Life here at Acadia. Also on the call, and we'll be switching back and forth and speaking, is Brent LeGros, who's one of our Residence Life coordinators in the Residence Life Department at Acadia. And joining us a little bit later is also Derek Hines, who's our Director of Dining Services at Acadia. And so he'll be on the call in a little bit when we get to the content about dining services at Acadia. A couple of housekeeping items just as we're moving forward here. We do have a live Q&A going for this presentation, so if you'd like to ask questions as we're going along so you don't forget them, please feel free to type them into that chat box. We'll be monitoring those as we go through and then answering them all when we conclude the formal part of the presentation, and we'll have lots of opportunity to answer those questions. That's a large part of what we're hoping to do for you today. So a little bit about residence life at Acadia. This is a beautiful overview shot of our campus with many of our residence buildings sprinkled throughout. For those of you that are familiar with the campus, you'll be able to identify some of them. And for those of you who aren't, we're going to be talking about all of them in just a few minutes. Of those 11 residence buildings on our campus, there are as many as 1,700 residents from all over the world who live in our community. And we have a variety of different community options and room styles, and we're going to talk about those as we move through this presentation as well. So ideally, by the time we finish up today, you'll know exactly what building you'd like to live in and what type of room you'd like to live in when you come to Acadia next fall. So what to expect when you come to Acadia. First of all and foremost, in residence, we focus on offering engaging experiences and programming. And we're going to give some specific examples on the next slide, but everything we do is focused on making sure that you have a good time while you're here. Living in residence is intended to be a different experience than living off campus, and what makes that experience different is the people that you meet, the memories that you make, the friendships that you make, and being able to do that in a place where we offer support and a safe and respectful environment for you to live in. We do have RAs on every floor. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do, as well as all-you-can-eat dining is something that all students who live in residence have access to, and something that we're excited to tell you a little bit more about when Derek joins the call a little bit later. I'm going to pass it over to Brent to talk about the next slide and some of the things that, that we do in residence.
Great, thank you, Chad. So again, as he noted before, my name is Brent LeGros. I'm one of the residence life coordinators here on campus. And I've had the privilege of working here at Acadia now for over 6 years in different positions, first being a student and then now as my current role as residence life coordinator. Through my years here at Acadia, some of the events I'd like to highlight that have really brought a lot of joy and a lot of excitement to the communities that we have here on campus. Our Tully Tea, which is an annual event that happens in Chipman House, where you have a lot of alumni from the building come back for a social gathering, as well as Barracks Picks Up, which is found in War Memorial House following the large community events such as Homecoming and Eaton historically, where the residents of War Memorial House have gone around the community and helped to clean up some of the garbage found around the area. Of course, as some of you may know, the legendary Seminary Haunted House, which of course happens in Seminary Building, where residents get the ability to act in the haunted house, but it usually happens around Halloween, where students on campus and off can come and do the haunted house here on campus. There has been a variety of quad lawn bowling events that happen between the quad buildings of Eaton Christopher, Rojo, or Chipman, as well as the cut and slip and slide that happens usually in the summertime. Operation Tower, the escape room. We've seen multiple escape rooms here on campus before, but the one in Tower happened over a variety of different floors, so that was one that was really incredible, and you'll find a lot of incredible events there. As well as Rojo, which holds a lot of international dinner nights where people will provide food and provide some insight into some of the meals that they would make back home. Some funny ones, for example, would be the lettuce eating competitions that we've seen on campus, where who can eat a head of iceberg lettuce the fastest, followed by, of course, the table tennis tournaments and outdoor movie nights that are often found at the KCIC Gardens or just projected on your own buildings. I'll hand it back to Chad now.
Thanks, Brent. So after hearing about all of those exciting events, hopefully there's something for each one of you that stood out, something that gets you excited about living in residence. But you might also be wondering who's responsible for all of those exciting events and the many more that weren't listed there. And that would be our resident assistant team, or our RAs. So RAs live in each community in residence. Their job is first and foremost to provide support, mentorship, and guidance for residents in our community. They do that by getting to know you, by learning a little bit about you and sort of what makes you tick as a person and what your needs are. And then they use their experience as upper year students to help guide you and figure out, what's going to be the things that you're looking for as a first year student at Acadia. They're a very big part of the experience here and a really important part of what we're able to offer in residence that sets us apart. Obviously, they plan programs and events, which is what Brent was just talking about, but they also help to keep the community safe and respectful. So our RAs do rounds. They're an important part of the rules that we have in place in residence, which are there to help everybody be respectful of each other and hold each other accountable. And when you do join us in the fall, you'll learn a little bit more about those. The other thing that's really exciting about the RA position is that once you've finished your first year, if you are interested in becoming an RA, that is an opportunity that will be available to you. We have a job application process, and many of our RAs stick around all the way from their second to their fourth year. So it's a pretty exciting opportunity for those of you who might be looking forward to some different leadership opportunities on campus and specific to residents. So with that, we're going to spend a bit of time, and Brent will be doing this, talking a little bit about our specific communities and what they have to offer. I just want to give a little bit of a kind of forewarning as we're going through these slides. We are, of course, in the middle of a pandemic, and so this presentation is focused on fall 2021, where we are expecting to be back to some semblance of normal operations in residence. One of the things that we're not entirely sure on is what double rooms are going to look like next fall. And so just know that when we're going through and talking about double rooms, that there may be some changes to how double rooms look in the upcoming year, and we'll have more information to share about that through the application process and when we get to room selection a little bit later on. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Brent, who knows far more about the communities of these buildings than I do, to give you a little bit of the inside scoop on what they're like.
Great, thanks, Chad. So at the top of the hill here at Acadia, you have, of course, the legendary Chipman House, where this is home to about 275 students. Throughout the years, most previously, it has won the award given out by Residence Life for having the Community of the Year, as highlighted in the years 2017-18 as well as 19-20. Eaton House is an incredible active community here, where there's a large diversity of students from around the world, as it provides lots of options and different community like availabilities within the sections, such as quiet floors or alcohol-free sections. But essentially, Eaton House does offer a combination of both double and single rooms, ranging from cost from around $6,000 upwards to about $9,000, again, depending on the style of room that you choose to sign up for. Eaton House has an incredible atmosphere. They're known as the Titans here on campus and have run a lot of incredible events for both new and returning students in the years. Of course, the next one at the top of the hill is Kroll Tower, as you can often see when walking here on campus. So Kroll Tower, again, is home to about 264 students, where there are less than 20 students per floor. So you get a really close, tight-knit community with those on both your floor and within your residence community. There is incredible views all around campus, so you get either looks from east or west, but again, with the lounges facing towards the dikes, you get incredible views of the entire campus and the surrounding landscape here in Wolfville. Kroll Tower offers a variety again of rooms ranging from double to single rooms, and again has a shorter range between $5,400 and $6,250. And again, those prices are subject to change as those are just estimates during this time. Chase Court, which is typically more of a returning student environment. You often see a lot of second years going to this building, but of course they do have a lot of new students who arrive and live in Chase Court. It is home to over 250 students, and it's divided into these smaller sections, or pods as you call them, where the building basically has 5 of them ranging from letters A to D. The building provides a variety of different rooms such as singles, deluxe singles, and suites, and ranges from about $500 to $8,800. The legendary Dennis House. Dennis House, of course, is typically a first-year residence, where it's home to a lot of people from around the Halifax area, but of course you'll find lots of people from around the world as well within Dennis House. It has quite the lively atmosphere. There's always something to do during Dennis House, where the RAs are very active within the sections as well as the residents to create a very homely environment where it's not very hard to meet your fellow neighbors. It's home to about 144 students, where they are primarily first year, again, as I noted, where they have a very active and outgoing sense of culture. They have primarily double rooms with some single suites, deluxe singles, and singles. And again, the price range for those is around $6,400 to about $8,800. Eaton House, which is often combined, which is combined with Christopher Hall, is a part of the quad here on campus, and Eaton quite often goes with the legendary rivalry between them and Chipman House through the Cheaton Cup hockey game, where it's home to 88 students, and it's primarily a first-year residence, but again, you will see a lot of returning Eaton residents in Eaton House, because again, that community culture and experience that they've had there in their first years, they want to continue to live within the quad. As of course, as I noted before, it is the home of the Cup, which is the Cheaton Cup, a charity hockey game held annually, where the house provides a variety of different rooms, such as doubles, singles, and deluxe singles, ranging from $6,400 to $8,400. And like I had said before, its partner in crime, Christopher Hall, which is combined with the community of Eaton House, as they share the same RA team. It is home to about 73 students, where it's a healthy mixture between first year and second year students, as it is a little bit more of a quiet atmosphere in comparison to the one found in Eaton House. It's a community that appeals to everyone, as you'll have incredible floor mates and experiences in both buildings, that you'll find opportunities to explore new events, try new things, meet new people. It has a variety of different room styles, from double, singles, and deluxe single rooms, similar to Eaton House, ranging from the exact same price of $6,400 to about $8,400. So Roy Jodrey Hall, also known as Rojo, is home to about 96 students, and it is known for being a mature and upper year student residence. But again, don't think of that as a retirement home, because Rojo quite in fact has an incredible community here on campus, with a lot of amazing people who come from all around the world, like I noted before with their international dinner nights. This building loves to promote the diversity and inclusivity of all the residents. It is the newest residence here on campus, and only offers single rooms and suites, so you have the ability as half of the building is made up of suites where you can have a living option with friends here if you do choose to live within Rojo. The room prices are ranging from about $8,400 to $8,800. And of course, you can't really think of Eaton House without mentioning Chipman House, as they are the rival for the Cheaton Cup. As some of you may know, Chipman House has long-lasting traditions and amazing communities and cultures that have lasted throughout the years. It is home to about 110 students, where it has a healthy mixture again of both new and upper year students that will really take care of each other within the building and the community. It has doubles, singles, and deluxe single rooms. But again, the different landscape or the different layout of this building makes it very easy for everyone to meet their neighbors, as it is just a singular hallway. So again, the ability to build connections and community within this building is impeccable. The price range for rooms here range from about $6,400 to about $8,400. So Whitman House, again, like I noted to before with the amazing Tully Tea event, has some incredible long-lasting traditions that are often linked as well to Chipman House, but more so with their really tight-knit community, as it is the only residence here on campus that is reserved for female-identifying students. It is an incredible spot to live, as the rooms are spacious and have an incredible community vibe. As again, your RAs work really hard here to try and build a sense of community for everyone who is in the building. It offers doubles, singles, deluxe singles, and suites, and ranges again from $6,400 to about $8,400. Seminary House, it looks like the perfect home on the outside for the haunted house, but once you get inside, it is beautiful. This old building here is the oldest operating student residence in Canada, where it has an incredible aesthetic appeal as well as community appeal, where you'll meet some incredible individuals who live within the building, as it is home to about 90 students, a mixture between the majority first year but some second year. It does have that musical community again, as lots of people who like to live within this building do have more of an arts background, but again, with that isn't the case for everyone, as you will meet a variety of diverse and incredible individuals who live within Seminary House. They offer double, single, and deluxe single rooms, which I would say are probably the largest and nicest here on campus, that range from about $6,000 to about $8,000. And when you think about campus, or when you see campus, some people often forget about this building, but you absolutely shouldn't. The barracks or War Memorial House is home to what I would say is probably the best community here on campus, as I've lived there for 2 years within my time here at Acadia, both as a resident and SRA, where I am very proud to be a part of this barracks family. It is located at the very bottom of the hill, so the walk up the hill to meal hall isn't exactly the best, but you make up for it by walking with your friends and building those connections with people within the building for every single meal. It is home to about 137 students, both first and second years. It has an incredible sense of community where it offers double, singles, deluxe singles, and premium single rooms, ranging from about $6,000 to about $9,000. And I will pass it right back to Chad for going over on how to reapply to residence.
Sorry, Chad, it looks like you're muted there.
Sorry about that. For some reason, I don't. Well, I have the slides going. I don't have control over my my volume, unfortunately. So We'll keep going here. So just to back up there, hopefully now you've identified a residence that stands out to you that you'd like to apply to live in, or perhaps a few different residence and room styles. So how do you go about that? Well, before you do that, a couple of housekeeping things for you to know. First of all, we do have a room guarantee for all first-year students who are coming to Acadia to study for the first time. So you are guaranteed to get a room in residence. But there are some steps that you need to follow to make sure that you get that room, and also to have the best chance at getting the room and building that you would like. So first of all, to reserve your guaranteed room, you must still apply for residence, even though it's a guaranteed room. And there is a $200 deposit that you'll pay when you apply, and that gets applied to your first term residence fees. So it's not it is a non-refundable deposit in most cases, but it's not an additional fee on top of the fees that we just spoke to you about. Residence applications for 2021-22 will be available in late October. So we're still working on a specific date at this point. There's been a few delays related to the pandemic situation, but we are hoping to be able to open that up for you relatively soon. So please continue to check if you're somebody who has already accepted their offer of admission to Acadia. And if you're still waiting on admission or thinking about accepting your offer of admission, that's okay. You just need to do that before you'll be able to submit your residence application. And why might you want to do that sooner as opposed to later if you have a guaranteed room and can wait until the spring? That's because room selection occurs in the spring. That's where you get to select the building and the type of room that you want to live in. And priority for that room selection is given based on the order of your application to residence. So when we open at the end of October, if you apply right away, you'll be in the first batch of students that get to select their room, which means you'll have a much better shot at getting the specific building and style that hopefully you have identified from our presentation today. So how do you go about doing that? This information, I will say, is all available on our website. So don't feel like you need to take diligent notes, but I just want to go over it so that we have an opportunity to answer any questions that you might have about it. So once you have accepted your admission to Acadia, you need to activate your network account in order to be able to log into residence. So that's an important step that a lot of students do miss. We get a lot of emails from students saying, I can't apply to residence. It's because you need to go through that step. It's very simple to do simply by going to your application status page and choosing a new password. Once you've activated your account, there's another link in the application status page. It's in the enrollment checklist, and you'll be able to use that to log into the residence application, which again is not currently available, but will be available very soon. Once you get into the residence application, which is called Star Res, you will click on Apply for the academic year 2021-22 term. And from there, it's pretty simple. It gives you a step-by-step guide, but just so that you know what to expect, you'll complete all of the personal details. It's going to ask you to confirm your name, preferred name, contact information, all of those pieces, and make sure that they're correct. It's also going to give you an opportunity to share any accessibility needs that you might have with us that we may need to accommodate in order to ensure that you're successful while you're living with us in residence. And then this is probably the most exciting part is you'll get to select your top 3 residence choices. You can also select more than 3, but you need to select at least 3 buildings and room types. Those are not something that you're locked into, just so that you can change your mind. And when we get to room selection, which again happens in the spring, you'll be able to go in then and select from any of the buildings and room types that are available. But we do ask that you provide us these for 2 reasons. One is so that we have an idea of how many students are looking for each type of building so that we can plan our time slots accordingly for that room selection. And the other is just in case for some reason you don't end up selecting a room, though all of you are obviously very on top of things. You've chosen to come to this session, which means you'll probably all continue to be that way and continue to follow these steps very diligently. But just in case you don't, it gives us the ability to make sure that we place you in a room that meets your needs. If you are going to be living in a double room or in a suite, you'll be able to complete a roommate matching profile. And later on in the process, there will also be a portal that you can use to help you find a roommate. And then finally, you'll need to sign the Acadia University Student Residence Agreement and pay your $200 residence confirmation deposit, which can be done either through our application process or to your student account. And again, there's lots of information available on our website about how to do that. And then you submit your application, and it might seem very strange because you'll submit your application and then wait all the way until April or May to do your room selection. And certainly we get lots of emails during that time. Students get a little bit antsy. Isn't there something more that I need to do? And the answer is no. Once you've completed this step, you do have your room guaranteed. You've paid your deposit. It's just time to wait until it's time to select your room. The next section is about Acadia dining services. I'm just going to ask our moderator if Derek Hines has joined us yet. Perfect. It sounds like he has, so I'm going to pass it over to Derek to walk you through this next section. Just so that you know, there is a video in this section, so if there are any issues with the video, please don't exit. It should catch up. There just might be a little bit of a delay.
Hi guys, first thing I'll do is a sound check. Can you hear me? Awesome. Okay. I'm Derek. I'm with Dining Service at Acadia, and great to be here tonight. We have Wheelock Hall, which is on Upper Campus, and it's an all-you-can-eat concept, and with a beautiful view of the basin, which is certainly unmatched locally. We're a fair trade campus, and we're also working towards 50% of local purchases in the next number of years, which is a very aggressive target for food services. So that'll be everything from proteins to produce to canned goods and everything else. We also have it's one of a kind grocer, which is roughly about 50 to 60 feet away from the dining hall. And we actually grow close to 200 pounds of produce weekly. And right now we have close to 180 or 200 different species that we can grow in this hydroponic farm. So it's insulated. It's actually our chefs go out and harvest, and then it goes into the salad bar and the deli bar, and also into some of the other stations on campus. So I believe we have a picture of that later. Also featured here is our Flannels food truck, which is located when we do football games. Again, it's using locally sourced products, everything from poutines to specialty salads and different types of sausages. So not sure who's controlling the slides, but if you could go to the next one, that would be wonderful. Thank you. So this is actually, oh, it's the video. I'll let this video speak for itself. And that's Chef Arian, by the way, that's in the video here. So if you want to hit play, that would be great.
The Grocer is a repurposed shipping container that houses a hydroponic growing system for fresh greens on campus.
Most of the produce that's coming out of the grocery goes directly right into our meal hall, so right from the back door, directly in. We try to use it a lot for catering, as well as we're donating a percentage of it, or whatever we grow, to the food cupboard here on campus for students that have insecurities with feeding.
So the sustainability concept is really quite broad, as well as our sustainable foods program, which is focused on a number of things, including food waste and how our food is produced with the lowest possible food print, educating our students about food. We are an educational institution, so we like to leverage our food services and other operations on campus to create opportunities to educate and engage our students.
The sustainability aspect's great, where it's right at our back door. The fact that we're not adding any type of transportation costs to that food. The food's being grown here directly. So, you know, you can go out and watch from things being planted to the fact that you're eating it now in the salad bar within 3 to 4 weeks.
Food security is an issue around the world, and so this kind of a project, which is designed and built for remote and rural and cold environments, allows communities and campuses to grow food year-round in areas where otherwise they might not be able to. So this is a way of showing that to students and helping educate them about those kinds of issues and solutions that help address issues around food security and food production.
Great, thank you. That video was Chef Peter was the gentleman that was doing a lot of the talking there, and he's actually done a number of interviews with CBC and a bunch of other publications across the country, actually. So he was pretty excited to promote the Grocer, and like I said, it does grow pretty quickly. A lot of the different products we use at the hall. Next video or slide, please. Yes, so Chef Peter actually does customize our menus, and he has two sous chefs working with him, which is Ariane and Kira, and they've been with us for a number of years. We also have a dedicated baker on site, so we're very lucky. A lot of our soups and products like that are made from scratch. We have a web-based menu, which nutritional information is all in there, so you can click and find out the different information behind it. We're lucky, we have a dietitian on site, Victoria. So she does consultations and help different people navigate through the dining hall if they need it. The other nice thing we do have available is My Pantry, which is a station you go in and basically make your own meal if you want to customize it. And it's a rotating menu, so you know, some days you'll see people in there doing a stir fry to other products, and it's you know, sometimes there's also some cooking classes in there, so it's a chance for one of the sous chefs to kind of say, you know, here's something else you might not have thought about. So a great little area that's located right in the servery. We also do theme events throughout the school year, but one of them that is mentioned here is Get to Know Your Farmer Day, which is basically throughout the dining room will be tables with some of the local farmers and other specialty suppliers locally in Wolfville, and they'll have everything from their carrots out there and talk about the whole process of harvesting and some of the challenges. And I know in the past some of the students have gotten very engaged with some great questions and stuff. So next slide, please. Meal plan options. So in residence, there is 4 plans here to choose from. And so from the 7-day max plan to the 7-day plus plan, and the 7-day plan and the 5-day plan. And that would be whether, you know, if you're living in Halifax, maybe you're going home for the weekend, as opposed to, you know, you're planning to spend more time. And, you know, we have, actually, we just had a student locally in Wolfville who just switched over to the 7-day plan, even though he lived in the local area. So again, it's once you get into it and you decide, you know, your involvement in the residence and how often you're going home, you can choose the plan that's right for you. So, do we have any other slides there? Oh, that's the end of my presentation, and I'll leave it open to questions to the group.
Thanks very much, Derek. Appreciate you being able to join us this evening. And like you said, we'll open it up for questions here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we'll be able to have some more face-to-face conversations. So please enter your questions into the Q&A, and we'll start answering them shortly. So the first question is, what is a good residence for a first-year student? Maybe I will pass that over to Brent to answer, and you can talk about some of the residences of choice for first-year students.
Yes, absolutely. So I was just looking at that question actually myself here, and I was thinking it really depends on what you want to get out of your community experience and what your residence experience is. Of course, there's a difference of liveliness between the buildings, so you'll find the more quiet ones near the bottom of the hill, such as War Memorial House, Seminary, and Tully, which all have incredible communities there, versus you get more lively or loud ones found in maybe Eaton House, Dennis House, or Chipman House, and then a good combination of both found in the other buildings here on campus. But again, I think it really comes down to what you want to see out of your residence experience. And you can also, try different residences every year. So again, you can maybe try the first one as a more lively one and come back to a second year dominant residence. But to maybe further answer your question of which one I think is a good one for a first year student, I mean, notably, I think Dennis is the only real first year residence here on campus. But again, if you want to meet more people and have a larger community sense, especially as a first year who kind of comes here not really knowing many people, I would suggest a larger one such as Tower, Cutton, or more community-based such as War Memorial House or Chipman House.
Thanks, Brent. Next question is, could you explain the difference between single deluxe and suites and maybe give an idea of what it looks like? So it does vary from building to building. Generally, a single deluxe is a single room that is larger than a standard single room. In many cases, but not all cases, they do come with a bigger bed as well. So that's something that a lot of students do enjoy. Suites are a little bit different in that suites are typically a single room that's in sort of a cluster with a shared common space with other students. So a 3-person suite, you would have a bathroom shared between and a shower shared between the 3 people in the different rooms in that suite, as well as sort of a common sitting area for students to enjoy as well. We do also have premium singles as well. Those are only in War Memorial House. And those also include a private shower room for students, which is why they're a little bit more on the expensive side. Next 2 questions are about the meal plans. So I'll pass it over to Derek to answer, but first question is, are there meal plans for off-campus students? And then what is the purpose of the flex dollars?
Great questions. Yes, actually, we do have off-campus meal plans, and so they're actually not just to students, faculty, staff. We even have some local town residents who buy the off-campus meal plans, and they come in different varieties, from very small ones to large ones. And so yeah, they're a great solution if a student is living off campus, because then you can make sure that they're getting some healthy products into them. So yes. What's the purpose of the flex dollars? The flex dollars are basically money's used at the retail store. So if you're down there and you want a coffee or a tea or a sandwich or whatever else it is, that's what the flex dollars are for. Just gives another option when you're running to class or whatever else, or you just need that sugar fix in the afternoon or something. So that's what those are for. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you, Derek. The next question is, how quickly do the residences fill up? It depends on the building. Some of our more popular buildings, do tend to fill up quite quickly when we open room draw. But typically we try to set up room draw so that there will be some spaces in each building when it comes time for students to select their rooms. Usually, if you get a time slot for your room draw and you don't log in for your scheduled time slot, that's the scenario where students might miss out a little bit, because things start to go from other students that are in their time slot and have selected ahead of them. But there is always certainly a risk that buildings will fill up. But in terms of residents as a whole, like I said, we do guarantee spaces for first year students. So that's not something that you should need to worry about as long as you're applying in a timely manner. I certainly wouldn't recommend waiting until July or August, but generally students that are applying up until that point do have a room. And the next question I'm seeing here is, what are the three residences that have the most first years? I'll ask Brent to take that one again.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you look at the three residences that have the most first years in comparison to the building population, they would be Dentist House, Cutton House, and Tower. But again, I think it really just depends on what year it is and how many people decide to come back into the residence communities, where that may change during, from this conversation onwards, where you might see more first years available in War Memorial House or an Eaton House. But historically speaking, Dentist being first, Cutton being second, and Tower being third.
Thanks, Brent. Another one for you. Are people allowed to sleep over in residence?
Well, right now with our COVID rules and regulations, they are not if they are from a different residence here on campus or if they are a non-Acadia individual. So because of the COVID restrictions we have in place, that is a no for the time being. But historically speaking, to have guests in your buildings, you would have to just have a guest form filled out and submitted to your RA teams so that it can be approved by Residence Life. And that is something that has been done in the past, both from either non-Acadia students coming onto campus or Acadia students on campus. That option is available to you, but it does have to get approved, historically speaking.
We'll keep the Brent train going here. How popular is Seminary House?
I would say Seminary House is very popular for for a very particular group of individuals. Again, like I noted to before in the slide deck, Seminary House has more of a quiet atmosphere that's home to a lot more students who possess maybe more artistic capabilities. As you'll find many music students there, as it's located right beside Denton House or Denton Hall, which is the music and production building here on campus. But again, with saying that, I have seen years at Acadia here where Seminary House has been a lively atmosphere. There's been second years who've come back and provided a lot of incredible experiences for their first years. A little bit more of a busier building, but of course having that same quiet and respectful atmosphere. But yeah, I would say Seminary House, as well as other ones here on campus, is very popular for a lot of first-year students, as it does provide a lot of good opportunities to meet new people, as well as to have a great place to stay.
Great, thanks, Brent. Next question is, do any of the rooms or suites have any kitchen spaces? The answer to that would be no, with some very limited exceptions, but generally you should not expect to have a kitchen space in your room. That being said, all of our buildings do have community kitchen spaces available that are shared with other students. So you'll typically have access to some of those amenities, as well as, of course, as Derek already spoke to, we do have the My Pantry option, which is a great option for students who just like to cook and want to make sure that that's something that they get to continue doing while they're living in residence. Next question, are off-campus students welcome to activities organized by or in the residences? Yes, absolutely. We often have events that are planned where students will invite friends from off-campus to participate. I will say that often our events in residence are geared towards students who are living in residence, and that's who we advertise them to. So you won't necessarily find out about them or be directly invited. You'd have to sort of have a friend who would be able to kind of usher you into the event. So, but certainly we don't turn any Acadia students away who are wanting to participate in something that we're doing on our campus for students. And it looks like we've come to the end of our questions at this point. Maybe I'll just give another 30 seconds in case anybody else would like to ask a question, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else coming in, which either means that we've covered absolutely everything that you could ever want to know, or it's 8:30 on a Wednesday night, and maybe you're just out of questions at this point, which is totally okay. The good news is we have you covered. If you do have questions, you can reach us simply by emailing residencelife@acadiau.ca. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about residence or about dining, or we can certainly put you in touch with those who can answer questions about anything else Acadia related. And just with that, it looks like we do potentially have another question. Is there guards who bring you home even off campus? So we do have a safe walk program on campus. So if you are going to be walking alone at night or that sort of thing, there are safety and security guards and campus patrollers who can walk with you to help you travel around campus. And there are, maybe Brent, you can speak a little bit to this. There are some options for off-campus students. They look a little bit different this year because of the pandemic, but Brent can maybe tell you a little bit about what that looks like in a normal year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, well, the main thing really, again, is the Safe Walker program on campus through Safety and Security. So that is an option that's available to anyone either on campus or off, done through the Acadia Safety and Security Department. Traditionally speaking, you can either have the carpool program, which allows you to get picked up by one of the vans on campus and can be dropped off at your residence building. But again, that is during particular times of the day or night. And then, as Chad noted too before, the walking or the Safe Walk program here, there would be a member of the Safety and Security Department staff who would accompany you off campus at any location and walk you back either to your residence building or to your off-campus home. So that would be similar again to this year, but with years previous, that is a service that has been provided to students here at Acadia.
Thank you, Brent. So I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, so thank you all for your questions, and thank you for being here this evening and engaging with our presentation. We hope to see you all moving in to residence at Acadia in about 11 months. And until then, have a great evening, everybody.
Thanks for being included.